a question. What's driving this? As a psychologist and sex researcher, I often use the metaphor of fetish. The reactions to established knowledge, epistemology, methodology, conversations such as the ones we're having, correspond to the characteristics of a fetish reaction to a fetish object. They're highly selective, they're uncontrollable, and they're exaggerated. And I see people, who are making the pronouncements that we're talking about, the anti-scientism, the postmodernism, et cetera. I think the dynamic is some kind of nearly orgasmic pleasure. The condemning of an established knowledge somehow confers virtue on the individual and pleasure. What do you think the dynamic is? How did this
that's a
come
great
from?
question. I guess I'll be talking about some of this stuff
Where
in my
did it
book.
come from?
Yeah, let me go back to that slide.
Why does it feel so good?
I don't think there's a singular explanation. I think it's a cocktail of different pathologies. So, for example, when it comes to the victimology mentality, I've coined the term or the malady collective Munchausen or collective Munchausen by proxy, right? So for those of you who don't know, Munchausen syndrome is a psychiatric disorder whereby someone feigns a medical illness so that they can garner sympathy and empathy. Munchausen syndrome by proxy is when you take someone who's under your care, typically your biological child, but it could be a pet, it could be an elderly parent, and you harm them so that then you can get the pleasure of the empathy and the sympathy by proxy. Well, when I see the victimology, right, it's not I think, therefore I am, it's I'm a victim, therefore I am. So there's a form of collective Munchausen whereby the main currency now is I get my strokes, my pleasure through being a victim, either myself or by proxy. I'm the social justice warrior who's helping those poor victims. So that would explain the victimology mentality. The postmodernism, I actually think I have a not nearly as sort of psychoanalytic explanation as yours. So Jacques Derrida, Michel Foucault, and Jacques Lacan, and the rest of the French postmodernist scammers, I think simply stumbled on a way to get tons of people to actually show up and in complete reverence listen to their complete random gibberish and take them seriously. And as someone who studies peacocking behavior, I can peacock by buying an Aston Martin, I can peacock by getting Harvard degrees, or I can peacock, if you'll give me the opportunity, of standing up in front of adoring undergrads and saying that the transposed eigenvalue of my inner self, right? And all the rest of the bullshit. And there's a bunch of people who think that because I'm engaging in what appears to be pseudo-profundity, I must be saying something important, and I get all the hot women on campus. So I think it's really as simple as that. They found an arbitrage profit, to use an MBA, right? They found a way to be worthy in the ecosystem. Why do the chemists, sorry?
There's something driving this that we need.
Well, no, I think it's, why are the chemists and the physicists and the biologists getting all the attention? We also are important in the humanities, right? But it has to be something as impenetrable as what the mathematician is doing and what the physicist is doing, right? And the way I achieve that is instead of using mathematical symbols, I use impenetrable, complete random prose. There must be some profundity to it.
Eva.
It's bullshit.